Hello again, everyone. You are watching the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage, and in this video I am going to demonstrate how to thread a Spartan machine made by the Singer company. And if you know how to thread a Singer 99 or a Singer 66 or a Singer 185, you pretty much already know this because the Spartan is based, it is a cousin, right? It is essentially the same machine with a few accessory differences. Now, first I'm going to put in our bobbin. I had removed the bobbin to inspect the machine, and of course when you load this top loading bobbin, I have the thread hanging on the left or counterclockwise. I'm going to just drop it in. That's one of the great things about top loading bobbins. You don't have to take out the bobbin case every time you load a bobbin. So what am I going to do? You'll notice that the thread comes to this first slot, and then as I pull it, even a little bit better zoom there. So I have the thread hanging on the left, as I said, and you see it, and then it's going to go into this slot. And then once it does, I'm going to pull it, and you'll see it sliding in this groove right here. And then you're going to see an angled slot right there. And as soon as you see that, you pull the thread through it, and this is exactly how you thread this bobbin. Now, unlike the Singer 201, which had a built-in gap between the needle and the bobbin plate, this has that little spot right there, and that just gives you a plate. It keeps your thread, keeps your bobbin case properly threaded until you can pull the bobbin thread up with the needle. But we're not ready to do that yet, because now we need to, of course, thread the top of the machine. I don't know if I always mention this, but you actually, go ahead and put the sewing foot back on here. I'd taken it off. When you thread your machine, of course, you're threading it in two places. The top, obviously, and then the bottom. So we'll go ahead and start here from the, let's take a different angle. Okay, I'm going to start up top here, and I've got my my spool of thread. This is, what is this? Mettler Silk Finish Cotton. Fancy thread today. Okay, and I'm doing this again in a light color so that it will be easier for you all to see. If I use black thread, it just makes it more difficult to demonstrate. Okay, so we have, again, this is a fairly simple thread path for this machine and its cousin models, the 66, 99, and 185. Okay, we have one thread guide here, and then we're going to come down. We don't get one of those little guiding the little guiding flange that you sometimes see on machines, but that's okay. We don't need one. All we're going to do is we're going to put, after we zoom the camera here, we're just going to come down and just look for the two discs. They're pretty easy to spot, and we're going to put the thread right between them. And don't forget, remember, you've got to have your presser foot up. If your presser foot is down, then you're going to need to redo this, because, not the whole thing, just the portion with the tension assembly. Okay, so once you head here, make sure again that the presser foot is in the up position, because that takes the tension off your discs. You don't want tension on your discs when you're threading your machine. It can throw off the tension. Okay, so again, we got the thread between the disc right there. Now I'm going to pivot the machine around, because I like to show, obviously I like to drop things. That happens in every video, I think. So when I do this, I like to show the different angles, because eventually you will get so good at threading your machine, you won't think twice about it. But when you're starting out, it takes a little bit of practice. So that's why I do these the way I do them. Now, with this machine, the tension assembly is a little more rudimentary. It doesn't have the little, we see this in the 1960s Japanese machines, for example. They have that nice curved piece that makes it easier. But we're going to come up here. Almost looks like we're going back, and then we're going to come back down. Okay? So, now I do not have any tension on these discs. That's why I was able to do what I just did. So let's show it again from this angle. Again, coming off the spool, we're going to hit the first thread guide, no big deal. I come down between those two tension discs. They should be easy to see on this model. And here I'm going to I'm pulling the thread sort of toward me at a not quite a 45-degree angle. Now sometimes the check spring will have a little curl on the end, and you have to make sure you don't want to snag the spring up here. Make sure you come under it, and then once you've done that, then you come back down, and you're right in that little valley space. I'm going to hold on my spool here and show you the bounce. You guys see it bouncing? Now, this should be the right space. There is a way to adjust the check spring. I'm not going to do that now because I'm not really sure that that is an issue, but we will find out. So again, for those of you just now tuning in to this machine, if you haven't been following along, this is the Singer Spartan, which by any other name would be a Singer 99, minus a light fixture and some decals, but pretty much the same machine. Okay, so now we've come up, right? We've come up, we've got our check spring, then we came up, we have then hit our take-up arm. And let's see here. Now we're going to, oh, I see what we did. Haha. Did you guys catch me? Did you stop me? Haha. Yes, I needed to come under here and then go up to my take-up arm. I think I remember that right. I'm about to find out. Many times when a sewing machine does not work properly, it's because it hasn't been threaded right. It's easy to forget. You would think I wouldn't as many of these as I've threaded, but I know I can count on all of you to correct me, to help me. All right, coming over here. Whoops, come here. It's not wanting to thread like it should. There it goes. Just had to pull a little more in there. All right, what have we got left? We have, I'm going to lower the cam for you guys. Okay. Get myself a fresh cut there on the thread. So there's another thread guide that sits right here, right? It's like a little ring and it curves out there. And how do you access it? You take your thread and get it in a horizontal position, and there you go. Remember, the whole purpose of this is to kind of keep the thread in place so it doesn't go squirrely when the machine's running. And of course, now that I have gotten my threading done, except for the needle, I'm going to lower the presser foot at this point because I don't have to worry about causing issues with my tension. And I am basically, I don't even know what size needle this is. I know it's a Singer. Oh, let's stop right here. Wait, stop the presses. Okay. One thing we want to check, and we could have checked it in the last video, but that's fine. The needle. Now, the needle is in the right position. I have the groove on the left, which on this series of machines, that's where it needs to be. What am I going to do? I'm going to hold the needle. I'm going to loosen the thumb screw, and then I'm just going to check, make sure that this is in the right position. Because if a needle is inserted and it's either not put all the way up until it stops, or it is, and then someone lets go of it to turn the thumb screw, it can cause problems with stitching and timing. And I don't know that was the case. I just did this as a potential, just to rule that out. Okay, the prior owner may have fully installed the needle properly. They're not new to that exercise. So let's see if I can get. Can I get it threaded without the flashlight? Come on there. Turn it this way. Maybe I can look at it from this direction. When sewing machines eventually went to to threading needles front to back, that was actually very useful because I find that easier. Some of you may not, though. You may like the side needle threading. Now it could be, I typically put in, normally the smallest needle I use on the machines when I'm testing them is a 14. And then sometimes I use even bigger needles. So I don't know what size needle this is. There we go. Well, with this natural light, I should be able to get this threaded. Okay, I'm going to raise my presser foot again. And I'm going to, let's get our bobbin thread pulled up. Oops, come here. And I think I see it there. I've got sort of a powder blue upper thread, and there it is. And my lower thread is gray, so they're a little tough to spot. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm noticing that the tension on the bobbin thread, right, which is the tension on my bobbin case seems rather high. So, and I don't have any tension dialed in yet on my upper thread. So I usually start with a default between 3 and 4, close to 4. We can adjust that. Now, when I tug on it, let me get my upper thread here. So now, when I lower my presser foot, hold on. Yeah, I'm getting good tension up here. I'm not so sure about the lower tension. It's a little stiff. I'm going to start with this, but it's very possible we're going to have to make an adjustment. I don't want to do that just based on the feel of the thread. I mean, I might be right because I've been doing this for so long, but you know, you never want to make too many assumptions here when it comes to analog devices. Okay, let's get some fabric and we're going to see what this machine will do for us. All right, got myself a piece of a medium weight canvas cotton cloth here. Not a bad fabric to do some testing with. Now, for those of you who are new to test stitching sewing machines, keep in mind that when you're trying to ascertain how well your machine is making a stitch, you really want to make sure your fabric is flat and ironed. I don't always do that because I've been looking at test stitching forever, but it will help you be more accurate in deciding, okay, is this thing actually doing what it needs to do or not? All right, so what do we have here? I have my longest stitch length, which I always prefer. I'm going to snug down the stitch length control lever, and I'm actually just going to move forward. Oh, okay. Well, folks, I think I have determined that we're not going to get a lot of stitching, and now I know why there was a kind of a nest of thread here. Watch what happens, and I have not even used the motor yet, okay? Notice I'm going up and down, and look at the lever. The lever is moving on its own. Let me see if I can snug it down any better. Nope, it's breaking free, and it is not going to form a stitch. So something is going on with the stitch length adjustment. And you can see, again, you know, when a sewing machine goes up and down and tries to form a stitch and it's not feeding the fabric, well, you want to stop or you end up, this isn't bad. This could be a really bad. So we may have tension issues, but that's not all we got. We may have other issues as well. Yeah, and you can see here underside, this is what the prior owner was experiencing. This is why they said it wouldn't sew properly, and they weren't kidding. Look at that. Well, okay, so now we have a new project. I have a new project. What is going on with this stitch length? This is very unusual. In fact, I kind of wonder if this may have happened when it was new. Maybe it was something off, something needs to be adjusted, and it wouldn't run, and somebody put it away and said, the heck with it. I don't know, but this machine is clearly not behaving. So I'm going to have to investigate the stitch lever and see why it doesn't want to engage properly. And as soon as we figure that out, maybe we'll see what happens. Making no promises here. I would really like this machine to sew once again. So, if you have any ideas about what's causing this, let me know. Put your comments down below. And if you have not yet done so, whether you are a new visitor to this channel or if you've been visiting for years, please consider clicking on any of my Buy Me a Coffee links. It takes you to my page. And if you could consider making a donation to my efforts, it will help me purchase more machines, save more machines, and show more machines on this channel. Well, we will see what happens with the little Spartan. But if nothing else, we can say it sure looks pretty. It's a great doorstop at the moment, but we'll see what we can do, guys. Hang in there, and I appreciate your support. And we'll see what happens with this little underused machine, and we'll see if we can get it running again. Thanks so much. Bye bye.